Good morning, Paul DeMerico. This is the morning update and today's plan for October 20th for the Cameron Peak Fire. I'm starting here on the southwest side. Fire continues to hold, no issues, no concerns. We continue to mop up south of Bel Air Lakes. There was a little bit of a dirty burn in there with some of the our fuels that continue to smoke and smolder. We do have resources in there, a couple crews, a couple engines, and even a skidgen, which is a water tank on a dozer. It's a pretty neat piece of equipment. And they're in here working this. Coming all the way down to here, no concerns. Going into the structure pin gray area, we continue to secure the structures in there. What that means is just mopping up, because we have hand line around a lot of this stuff, our dozer line, and we continue to just make sure that there's no movement with that fire activity along those containment lines and around those structures. So still a good contingent of folks in there, mostly engines, wildland, type 3s, type 6s, the smaller ones to the medium-sized ones, all the way up to the structure engines, which are the larger engines working in this area. Moving down into branch 2, this hasn't changed from the previous day's briefings. We continue to really focus on this area and securing it. No movement. We did a little bit of activity in here. We backed off to the Boogie Woogie Road, and we are going to do a little bit of a firing in here at some point to secure that. But the rest of this is, for the most part, a direct hand line with a combination of dozers, utilizing dozers and hand crews. Coming down into Division Victor, primarily looking at keeping that fire still west of County Road 27, even though the spot, and I'll touch on that in a second. A lot of good action in there, securing this, this is a finer field type too, like that grass field type, so it really is easier and more conducive to suppression action. So we've been working in here, going direct, using the road systems, also coming in here, going direct to the combination of dozers and hand crews. No issues, no concerns. All the way down into the bottom corner here. What we did in the bottom corner is we have about 50 or 60 folks working this area with hand crews. It's not necessarily dozer country. It's pretty rocky in there. So we didn't utilize heavy equipment. That's why we had the H there. That means hand line, not dozer line or equipment line. And so we put folks in here and we began to go direct. And we're going to continue to do that today as far as we can get till we get to the top and tie into some road systems over here in Cedar Park. Talking about going back to the spot fire, a lot of good work's been done over there the last few days. We have basically direct line, combination of direct line using road systems, dozer, and hand crews all the way around till about here. This is really steep right in here. And so yesterday we used a lot of helicopters to keep that in check. We felt like it was a little bit too active to go right up against the fire's edge. It looks like the night shift, sounds like the night shift, had a pretty good night in there. Today we're hoping to get direct line. And this tiny little piece, it's less probably than a half a mile long with hand crews. It's too steep for heavy equipment. We hope to button that up today. If we can't go direct on that, we have an alternative that wouldn't impact any values at risk, such as infrastructure, that would bring a dozer line down here and utilize this road system to keep it contained within that area. Going down into Division Yankee and Division X-Ray. We did yesterday have a really good day in there. We were able to fly all day. We used rotor wing helicopters, air tankers, including the very large air tanker, the 747s that you see that are very, looks like they should be holding passengers, but they're these large things that drop up to 10,000 or 50,000 gallons of retardant, 10 to 50,000 gallons. And I mean, they're awesome. They're a great piece of equipment, and they do a lot for us, and they buy us a lot. We ran those from sun up to sundown yesterday. And that was largely effective all the way across here. What we're trying to do is keep that fire from spreading to the south. I talked about prioritization of resources yesterday, and we are in competition with other fires across the geographic area. And what we're doing with those folks is placing them where the most imminent threats are, especially to property. Down here, like, there's been questions about the community of Drake. Yes, we've done some structure assessments. Yes, we've had folks in there, but we're largely focusing on our resources on areas that we can prevent the fire spread from moving down into these values at risk in Drake and et cetera. Last night we had a good night. We got fairly active around Storm Mountain coming down this area in here. What it's wanting to do, to explain a little bit, we think of night as probably most of the time it is better for firefighting at night and our suppression action at night. But due to diurnal winds and some of these drainages, and a diurnal wind is a downslope wind, comes down the mountains. So if you have a fire on top of the ridge, fire likes to burn downhill at night. And here, with how dry it is and the low humidity recoveries we're seeing, it's been fairly active. So this thing, especially in certain spots of this fire, has been active for 24 hours a day, especially down in this area in here, just due to the dry fuels especially. It's pretty impressive, and especially for this time of year. And it can be challenging for our firefighters to be able to work in these areas, even during the evening times. But we're definitely working around the clock, 24 hours a day. Moving on into Division Whiskey Zulu, nothing has really changed in there. We do have a division group supervisor that's overseeing this and working on strategic planning for future operations, if that comes to that. Thank you.